Very much, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Right Honorable Speaker, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, in April 2023, under Article 99(1), 111(1), and 123(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, directed the Minister of Education and Sports to assume the role of the lead agency in the process of the Uganda's bid to co-host Afcon 2027 alongside Kenya and Tanzania. The football federations of Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda all declared interest to co-host Afcon 2027 alongside Kenya and Tanzania. On behalf of the Minister of Education and Sports and Government, we submitted a sovereign guarantee to the Confederation of African Football in April 2023 as part of the requirement in the bidding process. We were informed that the government of the United Republic of Tanzania and the Republic of Kenya had similarly complied with the requirements as guided by CAF. On 27 September 2023, the CAF Executive Committee awarded a hosting right for the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations 2027 to the East African Joint Pamoja bid by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. The African Cup of Nations is the most prestigious football tournament on the continent. It's a privilege and an honor for East Africa, including Uganda, to host the tournament. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, this is the first time the region will host an international continental sporting event of that magnitude in the history of three partner states since the inception of Afcon in 1957 in Sudan. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is also the first time the East and Central Africa CECAFA football zone will host the Afcon 2020 in 47 years since Ethiopia last hosted in 1976. The Afcon tournament has been in West Africa, Southern and Northern African region, but not to the East African region. As a country and at large board of East Africa, we are blessed with this good news and opportunity to host the Afcon 2027 football competition. This is a great milestone in fostering spirit of cooperation in East African community. While the decision to pool resources and efforts was strategic indeed, three countries are still faced with challenges including inadequate infrastructure, sports infrastructure, and funding against other competing priorities. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Afcon 2027 requires a substantial investment in infrastructure for the games, accommodation, air transport, water, and road transport accessibility. These are expected to yield significant dividends in the short, medium, and long term. We note that in March 2017, Uganda was able to host one-day World Athletics Cross-Country Championship in Kampala, and the report from the sports consultants firm that undertook research shows that the direct economic impact on the championship stood at US dollars 2,622,000 overall. Furthermore, we also know that US dollar 1.3 million out of the total expenditure of US dollar 1.96 million was spent on the local suppliers, among others. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Afcon 2027 is not just about football, but is also an opportunity to showcase the beauty of East Africa to the rest of the world. Many tourists are expected to flock to the region known for its diversity, culture, landscape, wildlife, and vibrant cities, to mention but a few. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Uganda made a commitment to the Confederation of African Football to undertake and ensure the following are implemented. Number one, execution of government guarantees to host Afcon 2027 submitted to CAF. Number two, sign off and submission of the host agreement after CAF bids declaration. Number three, payment of the hosting fees amounting to US dollars 30 million to CAF before February 2025. Each country is required to pay $30 million US. That totals 90 million as a requirement of CAF. Number 4, construction of 2 additional stadiums to host Afcon, namely Akiba Stadium in Lira and Buhinga in Fort Photo or Hoima City Stadium in Hoima. Number 5, completion of the renovation and upgrading of Mandela National Stadium. Number 6, securing all required funding for smooth logistical operations and delivery of the game. Honorable colleagues, the Ministry of Education and Sports is committed to the realization and delivery of Afcon 2027 to showcase the potential of our country while at the same time developing the infrastructure required to leave behind an existing legacy for the country. I want to take the opportunity on behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports to extend my appreciation to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda and the President of the Republic of Kenya and Her Excellency the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. We also want to extend our gratitude to Cabinet, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker of Parliament in its entirety, the Minister of State, myself, and the technical team in the Ministry of Education and Sports, National Council of Sports, the Federation of Uganda Football Association, and among others. Honorable colleagues, friends of East Africa, I want to say I am proud to be among those who have made the history of being. Are you reading the statement? I'm reading the statement, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to conclude by thanking you in a special way for being part and parcel of the entire process while in Cairo. Can we clap for the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker? You led us, and I want to say thank you. May God bless you abundantly. I say all this for God and my country. The statement is signed by the Minister of Education and Sports, the First Lady of the Republic of Uganda. I thank you so much, honorable colleagues.
Thank you, Honorates. So with Honorable Magogo and the team from National Council of Sports and FUFA, you guys did a wonderful job. You know, colleagues, one thing I came to understand, I thought you just submit a bid as a country and people look at your beauty and they offer it to you. I have come to understand that if we want to benefit from this, from getting such a, big tournaments coming to Uganda, we must build relationships. Build relationships, we must give capacity to our entities, from National Council to FUFA to the ministers. To find, anyway, I don't know which better language, but at least a minister should be able, when he stands up to speak, he has 5 delegates around him. We saw one minister, when he was standing up to walk, half of the delegates were moving with him. Now we said we are not contesting with this one. So what we did, Gogo had to advise us that we have to tag along this one so that he supports us. Without him, we are not winning. When I came to ask why, he said his country had given him capacity to build relationships in the footballing fraternity. But when you come, you don't have a network, and you expect to win it out of nowhere, is extremely difficult. But I also saw the determination of a president who could even, who spoke to most of these presidents in the region, begging, saying, please support us. I was very happy, Mr. Rope, one of the people whom we were coordinating with and encouraging us, asking us the updates, the leader of opposition. So this became, it really gave us impetus to even work harder, to find we are all united as a country. So this is a very big achievement for the country, and I hope now the real work starts. We don't just celebrate winning a bid, not knowing we must deliver. So as I had guided, let us also receive the motion, and then we have a debate.
Kaza Afcon 2027 naye era njatwala omukusa guno okwogerera bannayuganda nti ffe twalowooza nti bwe twazzaayo nga federation tiimu y'eggwanga ey'omupiira mu Africa Cup of Nations oluvannyuma lw'emyaka 39 tekyali kinene nnyo, naye ate bwe twawangudde kino ekyokutegeka empaka ezo kati ne tuzireeta mu Uganda, kirabika kye kikyasinza obunene kubanga ekyo kikwata ku bantu bangi ng'oggyeko bannamupiira bokka. Kino kigenda kukwata ku buli Munnayuganda yenna mu ngeri z'enjawulo. So tusuubira nti makula ge tutuuseeko okubanga Afrika yonna etwesize okubanga tuteekateeka empaka ezo, naye okuwa omukisa okuteekateeka kyanjawulo n'okuteekateeka kyanjawulo. So olwaleero olubimbi lutandika olw'okubanga tusobola okuteekateeka empaka ezo. Paalamenti ya Uganda ebadde ekubaganya ebirowoozo ku nsonga eno ng'etwebaza, naye ate era mu bino ebiteesebwako mwe muvaamu ebinaakolebwa. Tusuubira tutandikirewo okukola okulaba nga empaka zino tuziteekateeka bulungi. Njagala ogumya Bannayuganda abalimu okutya nti ebyetaagisa okuteekateeka Africa Cup of Nations byonna bwe twogerera kati tubirina ngaffe ababaddeko mu mpaka zino okuggyako ensonga eri emu ya bisaawe ffenna gye tumanyi, naye ebisigaddewo ebirala byonna mu mbeera gye tulimu n'olwaleero eyinza okuba si nnungi nnyo, naye ate bimala okuteekateeka empaka zino eza Africa Cup of Nations. Kati ebisaawe pulaani yaffe eri gavumenti yakuba nti twongerayo ebisaawe ebirala 2 ng'oyongedde ku Namboole. Of course twagala kutwala mukisa guno gavumenti ekolere eddala ku byemizannyo naddala ebisaawe mu ggwanga lyonna, ng'otandikidde eddala ne ku district kuba abasambi gye bava, ku regions, mu cities ezakakolebwa biyinza okuba nga tebiri ku mutindo gwa international stadium naye nga biri ku mutindo gwa regional stadium nga tusobola okuzanyiramu emipiira gyaffe egya national competitions. Abasambi ba Uganda baveeyo wansi, bw'oba toterezeza wansi tobasuubira waggulu, ng'ekimu ekibadde kitulemesa bibadde bisaawe. So ng'oggyeko mu biidi ebisaawe bye twateekamu nti tusuubira bwe baba batuwadde biidi okwongerayo ebisaawe ebirala 2, Ehoima ne Lira, ebyo bye byali mu biidi. Naye ate nga tumanyi bulungi nti Nakivubo waali, ate era n'ebisaawe ebirala nga St Mary's weebiri ebiyinza okuba nga byetaaga okwongera okuterezaamu bituukane n'omutindo ogwo. Tusuubira nti singa gavumenti enaaba egoberedde amagezi ge tugiwadde ogw'okuba nti tufuna omuntu omu nga kampani egenda okukola ebisaawe ky'erugogo neyakola ekisaawe ky'e Senegal eky'omupiira, nti yo yeetaaga ekintu kimu mu luzungu kye bayita sovereign guarantee, eggwanga okukkiriza nti tukolera omulimo tujja kusasula. Then n'emyezi 18 ebyo simaze okuwa stadium. So nze ndowooza nti n'ebisaawe bino ebirala bitwagala okuzimba tukole mu nkola y'emu. Kijja kendeeza ku sipiidi y'enkola y'emirimu, okola quality y'emirimu, olusi n'abayinza okulowooza nti sente zino kakati saawa yakuzirya kuba bo zino bano ba contractor bali professional. Bwe kinaaba kikoleddwa nsuubira nti tujja kufuna ebisaawe ebyo mu budde tube nga tusobola okuteeka. Lwaki ebisaawe 3 twakkaanya Kenya, Tanzania ne Uganda nti buli omu aleete ebisaawe 3, ng'ekimu kirina emitwalo 4 already Namboole agirina, n'ekirala kya mitwalo nga 1.5 mitwalo 2. Kibeere nti bw'aba waliwo alemereddwa okuba kugera kwa Katonda kiyinza okuba ekintu kyonna kitategerekese, ababiri basigala bagenda mu maaso n'ebisaawe 6. So ekyo twakikanyako era bye bimu ebintu ebyasikiriza CAF okulaba nga twalina biidi ennungi eragira ddala buli mbeera yandibadde sobola okutusoomooza okuba nga tugijjawo. Njagala kutwala mukisa guno okubuulira Abannayuganda bonna n'okubakubira omulanga nti tuwagire ekintu kino, yengeri yokka gye tusobola okwegattamu buli omu mu nzikiriza ye, buli omu mu ggwanga lye, buli omu mu byobufuzi byawagira nti ffe ng'omupiira buli omu awagira ekintu kimu, awagira ggwanga lye, awagira Uganda. Tusuubira nti ffenna bwe tunaaba nga tukoze ekyo bye tunaasaba gavumenti ejja kuwuliriza Abannayuganda bye baagala. Tugisabye ekendeeze ne ku musolo kyempaddeyo mu Parliament ku bintu ebikozesebwa ku byemizannyo. Bwe tuba tweteeka nga Kyogamu bwe yali nti baali bateekateeka Kyogamu, woteeri zonna bazisalirako bye zeetaagisa okuba nga zibeerawo, n'olwaleero tukyazenyumirizaamu. Si yesaawa olowooza nti n'ebyemizannyo babikendeezeko babiggyeko omusolo tusobole okuba nga tubifuna mu bwangu mu bungi bibe nga bikozesebwa. Ate ekyokubiri n'abo abali mu private investment nga bazimba ebisaawe okwongera okuyamba ku mulimu gwe tulina nabo babakendeezeeko bagireko ddala omusolo kubanga kiyinza okuyambako era mu kukulaakulanya ebikozesebwa. So kinaaba kikoleddwa tusuubira nti kijja kuyamba n'ekisembayo mpozi nti ekintu kino mu migaso emingi ennyo kuba ffe abagendako e Bulaaya ensi z'e Bulaaya 27 zibayita Schengen states zirina visa emu oyingira e Bufalansa toddamu kunoonya nti ate osanga booda awalala wonna naye si esaawa nti naffe nga East Africa lwaki ogenda e Kenya lwaki ogenda e Tanzania n'oba ng'olina ne booda z'osanga ensi ziri zikulaakulanye naffe tusobola okikoppa naye tulowooza nti bwe tunaleeta ebintu nga bino yengeri yokka gavumenti yaffe zijja okukolera awamu oba oli awo n'okugyawo ebimu ebiremesa abantu entambula y'emirimu n'ebyamaguzi mu bitundu byaffe bino.
I want to extend very special appreciation to the entire government of Uganda, led by the President, my senior minister, who is the First Lady, and my minister, Honorable Peter Ogwang, and the Chairman Council, and FUFA President, Engineer Magoga, and the entire team, for working together to pull up these very important achievement to favor our region and Uganda in particular, at a time we needed it most. 2, to thank the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament and the Deputy Speaker of Parliament and the entire Parliament as an institution for embracing this change and the need for Uganda as a country to identify itself. I look at one as a very historical moment for this country as we move towards achieving our maiden agenda of taking our economy to the middle income bracket. That hosting these games will be one of the yardstick we would use, and also one of the avenues to lead this country and also transform our economy and the people. On my side of council, it's a great opportunity for what we have all yearned to do and achieve. That this time, through the resolution of Parliament, we know Parliament is committed and they will appropriate the resources that are required to improve on sport infrastructure. I already thank them for firstly ensuring that even the new law that we have now, that will be able to give us the test of time, has provision for government to ensure sport infrastructure is put in place to help us in our intervention for talent identification and development as a country. So it is a right step in the right direction at the right time. And secondly, to build confidence to all the doubting Thomases that National Council of Sports has the competence as an agency, firstly for doing what it has done so far, that in the recent 5 financial years it has always been success, including the desired funding to federation, which was not there before. So this team I lead I worked very hard, and the federation leaders who are there should be able to give a reflection on the distant far we have gone, first to put them on subvention list as a government. So as an institution, therefore, we value our stakeholders, the federations, but also we want them to act responsibly and they know that government resources are not that adequate to undertake all their priorities as a federation. Government has its own challenges, and we are competing with the many other sectors for the resources available. This is our time, and prioritization is on sport infrastructure, and prepare adequately for Afcon 2027, which is the biggest event in Africa, in the region, in our country, that we have all prayed for. This is the moment. So for me, it's a good opportunity to thank everybody, including you, the media, for supporting us and becoming our voice at all levels to make a case for sports. So at a personal level, I think this is my moment to start really celebrating. Because right from Egypt, where I was, with the team that government sent, I came back when I'm a different man in terms of thinking. Because I'm just trying to see, by 2027, Uganda hosting the games, I am very, very sure that the government as an institution will never be the same. The sport and the people, because they will be proud of their country hosting such an event, but the opportunity created will touch each and every personality. So I call upon everybody to support the ministry and the council and the FUFA to deliver this project, Afcon 2027, alongside Kenya and Tanzania. Thank you for God and my country.
To the sports sector.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. As one of the famous footballers this country has ever got, and now turned into a football agent, I want to join the countrymen to welcome the bid. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank all people that were involved in this. This is a historical milestone to our country. However, winning the bid and preparing Afcon, they are totally different. In 2019, Cameroon won the bid, but due to its unreadiness, the Afcon was taken to Egypt. So when I look around and realize the situation our country is in, especially with the sports facilities, I get some anxiety. And say if the status quo remains the same, the thing that we would not want to happen, that happened in Cameroon, to come in our country. I speak this, Right Honorable Speaker, because of the situation, especially with our infrastructure and specifically the stadiums. When you look at Nambole Stadium we have, it's under renovation. But the renovation alone has taken more than 2 years. That snail speed. Imagine constructing new stadiums in this period. What I request the government is to use professionals. Instead of using, now we can give a contract to this one, we need to use professionals in this to give our country the mileage it needs. Right, Honorable Speaker? Our practice as usual, I will specify Chogam. When we go to Chogam, the individual hungry and most government officials saw it as a cash bonanza. They stole all the money. I would like to request you, this time, you embezzlers.
They stole all the money?
No, most of the money. Most of the money. I request you, the hungry money embezzlers, the thieves, at least this time, take a leave on this, so that we can achieve our historical dream. Right, Honorable Speaker, before I take leave, we need to correct the image of our country. We are going to host most of the people all over the world. But when you read in the news concerning Uganda, when another person has been taken away with a drone, others have been in prison for years, the government needs to correct the image of this country. And it should start with release.
Thank you. Now,
government ingekulibwa His Excellency Kaguta Yoweri Museveni neba ne owa Kenya ne Tanzania olw'ekintu kino kye bakola. Kubanga eggwanga oluusi betuga nti twawinize bid tebakitegeera bulungi. Bid eggwanga lye ligiwangula si federation. Naye federation tukolagana nayo kutwa nti tukolera lobbying n'okutusupportinga. Ekyokubiri nti okuwininga bid oteeka okuwanga criteria ezeetaagisa ozituukiriza. Ekyokulabirako oteeka okuba nga olina security priority number 1. Awo omukulembeze w'eggwanga y'aba agikulira. Oteeka okuba nga olina infrastructure nga hotels, abagenyi abanajja banaasulawa. Awo government ne private sector nemba salutinga kuba abatuteerereko hotels naki ne tujja ku infrastructure ng'ebisaawe. Era nzijukira olumu bwe twali twogera ku Kyenna Kivubu, abamu nga bali mu kujerega, bali mu kola ki, kati lwe batandise okulaba twalyoka ne tuplaninga na Kivubu nga bukyali, twalyoka ne tuteekako value addition ku Nambole kubanga ezo zonna requirements nga tetunatuuka ku tiimu. Ate ekirala ekinsanyudde ennyo okulaba nti bid eno ya 2027 not 2015. Bwawe twogera kati waliwo Afcon 2013 ne wabeerawo 2025, 2023, 2025 ne 2027. Nti etuwa time okubanga omuntu yeetegeka. Lwaki tuli basanyufu nnyo ng'eggwanga nti buli lwokola step ahead okuhostinga international events nga zino oleeta abantu ab'ebweru bayitirivu omarketinga your country. Omuntu owansi alina kyatunda ekiriroko naye atunda. Hotels zikola, tourism ebeera boosted. Trade bava wano nga bafunye bapartners baabwe be banadiiringa nabo mu sectors ez'enjawulo. Economy y'eggwanga awo ebeera boosted. kati ate si ekyo kyokka bwe tutunuulira mu maaso ti buli step gy'oteekako kuba mbadde ekyokulabirako ti bwe twahostinga wano World Cross Country Championship 2017 twagihostinga nga tumaze okuhostinga Chogamu emaze okutuleetera hotels nga nabali batubuuza abagenyi baffe banaasula nga hotels weziri nekituyamba nti buli hostinga obeerako infrastructure obeerako ekipya kyokolako kyo adingako nti ogenda okutuuka ku stage endala ng'ebyetaagisa byonna okola ki obirina buli lwoyongerako katugambe ekisaawe buli lwoyongerako enguudo na hotels n'omuntu wa bulijjo n'eggwanga lisigala lifunamu mu bintu ebyo bwe kituuka ku bazannyi motivation nti omuzannyi kati ojja kwesanga nti sikuono n'olwo n'abeerayo abantu 40 buli omu ajja kuba nga afiirawo okulaba nti naye abeera mu ttiimu y'eggwanga si ekyo kyokka abasigadde mu clubs nabo bajja kuba nga balwana buzingirire okulaba nti naye alabikako nti ali ku mwanjo kati okyaba ekintu bwe kisetting clubs are motivated, the team is motivated, abaana balina talents nabo nga batandika njagala kulabikako mu ttiimu y'eggwanga because of that tournament. So kituteeka ku maapu ndala nnyo kyovulaba era nze omulanga gwenkubira gavumenti tinga bwe yatulaga mu ku World Cross Country Championship ne spending a lot of money dollars ne tufuula Namboole Kololo obusozi nga bwe baali beetaagisa temporary ne tukola ate tudown tutereeza kuluno endagala era among the priorities infrastructure ng'ebisaawe ebyogeddwako Nakivu Namboole akibwa n'ebirala bigende mu maaso babiteeke priorities ate n'abantu ababulijjo nalo tuwagire ekintu kino n'omutima gumu naddala aba media n'aba opposition nti tuve mu negative sentiments tulabe nti abazanyi tubalina infrastructure tugirina nawo naali ebweru anaasoma ku bino ebitukwatako engeri gye twetegekera Afcon naye abeere impressed attracted okujja wano.
Motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the successful East Africa Pamoja bid comprising Uganda, Tanzania.
Honorable Lungu Santa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the governments of Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania for the successful joint bid to host the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations 2027, moved under Rules 56 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Whereas in the premier international men's football competition in Africa, organized by the Confederation of African Football, and is held every 2 years, recalling that the African Cup of Nations has been held since 1957, and participating national men's team play a qualifying tournament in which the first and the second best teams in each qualifying group participate in the final tournament, which is held in a country determined by the Executive Committee of the Confederation of African Football through a rigorous bidding process. Aware that the football federations of Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, with the support of the governments of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, presented a joint bid, the East African Pamoja bid, for the rights to host the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations in 2027, noting that the East African Pamoja bid faced a strong and relentless competition from the other African countries that sought to host the final tournament, including Botswana, Egypt, and Senegal. Appreciating that the East African Pamoja bid was evaluated by the Confederation of African Football as the best bid and the rights to host the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations 2027 was granted to Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, recognizing that the support from the government of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania was crucial in the success of the East African Pamoja bid, and demonstrated the commitment of the governments of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania to meet the cost associated with hosting the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations 2027. Cognizant of the benefits that will accrue to Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania from hosting the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations in 2027, including raising the global profile of East Africa, increasing the investment in sports infrastructure and social services, increase revenue and stimulating sports development as an economic and community development tool. Now, therefore, be it resolved that 1. Parliament collectively congratulates the governments of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania for the successful joint bid to host the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations 2027. And 2, Parliament collectively congratulates the football federations of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania for the successful bid to host the 36th edition of the African Cup of Nations in 2027. I beg to move.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Yes. Honorable Mushemeza, Honorable Catherine Ndamira, Honorable Kayemba Solo, Honorable Namuga Goreti, Honorable Muyingo, Honorable Uda Orero, Honorable Mwebesa, the government chief whip, Honorable Aran Sewanyana, and many other colleagues. Yes. By majority members of the House. Honorable Asanta, would you like to speak to your motion in 5 minutes? Honorable Santa.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I would like to say this is the biggest event that is going to happen to Uganda and the sister countries. But, Right Honorable Speaker, there was really widespread excitement when the President of the Confederation of the African Football unveiled Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania as the best evaluated bidder to host the Afcon 2027. Right Honorable Speaker, most Ugandans, if not all, were equally excited to witness our own President and the First Lady, who also happened to be the Minister of Education when they were receiving the award. Equally, the Presidents of Kenya and Tanzania. What a beautiful and exciting sight, Right Honorable Speaker, for the 3 East African countries to be in charge of the Afcon game in 2027. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, this is the first time in the history of Afcon that Uganda and the sister countries of Kenya and Tanzania will be hosting. Before this bid, 18 out of the 84 countries had hosted, but none of the East African countries has ever hosted. So this time round, Right Honorable Speaker, we have got a chance, and we are really very happy for this opportunity. And it comes with a lot of significance to us. First of all, we are now, and we have joined the light countries that have hosted Afcon. And Right Honorable Speaker, our profile as a country will be raised by hosting this game. And we shall automatically qualify in the Afcon 2027. We are already a team which has qualified. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, the Afcon comes with a lot of strategic and inclusive investment and benefits to the sports sector and the economy at large. First of all, Right Honorable Speaker, it will give us an opportunity to bring infrastructural development in roads, sports sector, and we have been looking towards this as a Parliament of Uganda. Many colleagues have stood up here and spoken and encouraged government to build stadiums across the regions that we have in this country. I was so happy that this time round, Akibwa, Kacheka will have the opportunity to be built as regional stadiums, and many more, Right Honorable Speaker. Two, Right Honorable Speaker, another benefit that will accrue from this is that Uganda, having got this opportunity to us, it will also bring for us that chance to develop our training facilities. And if they are developed up to that international standards, many teams will be coming here to train for 1 month, 2 months, and so many others. Right Honorable Speaker, before I move further, allow me to thank the governments of the three countries, starting with our own president, for the support and commitments that they have put in place right from the beginning. Two, allow me to thank our own leadership, the Speaker of Parliament, and the Deputy Right Honorable Speaker. It was again exciting to see you, as our Deputy Speaker, also receiving the award. Thank you very much. Also, on a special note, I want to thank FOFA. I want to say this with a very excited heart, that FOFA, you have really done us proud. Together with the other federations in East Africa, first of all, for coming together, for that insightfulness, to come together and put a joint bid. No wonder unity is strength. And we are here very happy that we have our own president with some of the technical team seated here, Honorable Moses Magogo. We want to salute you and your team for everything that you have put in place and say thank you for bringing us this far. Our regards to the Minister of Education, represented here by Honorable Ogwang. Thank you so much. Our regards for everything you have done. Then, finally, Right Honorable Speaker, we have immense benefits. The confidence that this has brought to our country, the tourism, the exposure, the talent identification. Earlier on, it has been the East African and North African countries that when you even look at the Premier League, you don't find our East African players. But this is a chance, Right Honorable Speaker, for our sportsmen and in future, the ladies to also shine at a global level. And all the focus will be turned to this country. Right Honorable Speaker, we have won the bid. We are the us, and I want to encourage all of us to support this motion. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I think whenever an opportunity of this nature comes to a country, the country at large benefits, from the lowest person to the highest, from a businessman to politicians and to the government at large. Right Honorable Speaker, before I proceed, let me join my colleagues in thanking His Excellency the President of Uganda and his counterparts, the Ministry of Education, the FUFA leadership, the National Council of Sports, and other stakeholders. I cannot forget the private sector. I will come to that. Without security in the country, as one of the conditions, without the private sector coming into play to construct the hotels, as one of the conditions, we wouldn't have won that bid. The commitment of the President, which is not for the first time, has led us to what we are going to see. Right Honorable Speaker, between 23rd and 26th November 2007, we hosted CHOGM. The outcome of CHOGM is we are still using it as a ladder for achieving more. When we come to 26 March 2017, we hosted the World Cross Country Championship. And one of the conditions before we went to Monarch to win the bid was do you have the infrastructure? And we used the existence of the hotels that we are put in place for CHOGM, and also, of course, First Value of Kampala to convince our colleagues. So you can see that whenever you win a bid, it gives you the opportunity for even bidding for further. And I think, to me, when I heard about this news, as the former minister, and I looked at the infrastructure, and mark you, it is Afcon 2027, not 2015. There is Afcon 2023 now, 2015, but 2027.
2025, Honorable.
I mean 2025. This gives us an opportunity to prepare ourselves in terms of infrastructure, in terms of finances, in terms of the team itself. And here I want to say, Right Honorable Speaker, that we want to call upon our society to stop their negative comments. Instead of encouraging the team and all other stakeholders, they will look for negative sentiments on how the government cannot afford. You have heard the statement from the Minister of Education when we hosted the World Cross Country Champion.
Thank you. Honorable Kayemba.
Okay.
Technical committee, which assessed the readiness of Nambour and what is being done. And it's one of the reasons as to why we won. Because Nambour, they are doing a great job, and I was there personally. This one I wasn't told. And the things which you saw the delay were on things which were meaning forfeiting, and where we received reports of containers which were coming in and all that. But the only thing which I want our record to, we shall check later, is how you were a professional footballer. I didn't even see you in Masaza Cup. I know you're a manager. Yes, Honorable Catherine Ndamira.
Era tuli basanyufu nnyo kubanga tumaze ebbanga ddene nga Uganda. Uganda tusamba omupiira, twagala omupiira, naye gavumenti ebadde nga teteekamu amaanyi mangi okuzimba ebisaawe by'emipiira, era kati kino kigenda kutuweereza omukisa okulabira ddala nti ebifo ebisaanidde okubeera n'ebisaawe bigenda kuzimbibwa. Era ffe nga ababaka tugenda kukola buli kimu tulabe nti budgeti eyeyo eyeddako erinanga tulina okujja ensimbi okuva mu bifo ebirala ne tuteeka omu byemizannyo era nga tulaba eno Africa Cup of Nation eya pamoja na East Africa.
Okusookera ddala amanya gange nze Namukuta Brenda, member wa Parliament omukyala okuva e Kaliro. Ng'omubaka omukyala mpagira nnyo ebyemizannyo era tuli basanyufu nti olwa lobbying abakulembeze baffe aba Parliament Speaker ne Honorable Magogo Fufa President lobbying gye baleese Uganda, tuli basanyufu nnyo ebintu ng'ebyo buli lwe bijja ekitundu kikulankulana era tusaba nti n'ebyemizannyo emirala bibeere nga bijja, naye kino kyokka ekyazze Afcon tusaba nti ebeerewo kubanga ebyobusuubizi bigenda kweyongerayo, abantu bagenda kutambuza kuba buli we biba bizze bijja ne developments ez'enjawulo, infrastructure, economically abantu batunda ebintu byabwe ne bitambula, ebyamaguzi byaffe wano bye bayita bubu by Uganda, build Uganda biba bitambula, aba arts and crafts, aba entertainment, buli omu aba akola. So kati kiva gy'oli n'ogamba ngenda kwenyigira mu kino n'olaba we weenyigira n'okola.
Njagala okutwala guno omukisa okwebaza President w'eggwanga, Ministry ya Education and Sports, FUFA ne ttiimu yonna eyagenze mu kuwangula luno olutalo olw'okuhostinga the East African Pamoja Bid Afcon 2027. Tuli basiimu ng'eggwanga kubanga okuwangula kuno kubaako n'ebigenderako, tugenda kusubiramu ebintu bingi, emirimu enyingiza mu ggwanga, kigenda tuwa n'omukisa nga gavumenti okuba ntutereeza mu by'okuzannya, si kufokasinga ku Namboole yokka naye okufokasinga regional stadiums ezaali zifunyeeko obuzibu naye nga tezirinovatingibwanga. Ate n'ekirala ne talanta z'abavubuka zigenda kufuna omukisa nti bagenda kufuna omukisa nti talanta zaabwe zivaayo olw'omukisa ogw'okuzimba oba okutereeza stadiums zino eza mu regions ez'enjawulo. N'olwekyo neebaza nnyo ttiimu eyagenze yatukoledde kinene ng'eggwanga tulina okweteekateeka tugenda kuhostinga delegates ab'enjawulo tulabike nti tuteeka eggwanga yaffe ku maapu ku improvinga economy yaffe okutereeza infrastructure mu bizimbe n'okupromotinga talanta mu bavubuka.
Olwaleero tuyisiza ekiteeso ekyokukkiriza nti tubeere wamu ne baganda baffe aba Kenya ne Tanzania mu kuteekateeka empaka za Africa ez'omupiira eza mwaka 2027. Ekintu ekyo kikulu nnyo kigenda kutuleetera amawanga gaffe gano, kigenda kutumbula ebyobulambuzi, kigenda okugateekamu ekitiibwa okulaba nti bageesiga trust, tugenda okuimprovinga oba okwongeramu omutindo ebyenguudo, ebyamalwaliro, ebya woteeri, sinakindi okulaba nti tujja Uganda weeri okugiteeka ku mutindo ogunaasobozesa okusobola okwaniriza abo abantu bangi abagenda okujja. Ensimbi ezinaaba bazze bano zijja kuba nyingi okusula, okulya, okugula ebyaffe ebyo bye tulabikako tutulaba. So n'olwekyo ate bajja n'ensimbi zaabwe si ŋŋanda, bajja kujja ne dollars tusobole okulaba nti dola ebeere nnyingi wano tukendeze ne ku inflation. Ensonga eyo Abannayuganda mwenna mujjanirize, sooka kuyozayoza President Museveni n'abakulu b'amawanga bali erya Tanzania ne Uganda okulaba nti bakoze butewerwa, okulaba nti tukola. Ekyokubiri, federation z'amawanga gombi asatu omulimu gwe zikoze okulaba nti bakola butaweerwa okulaba nti ensonga eyo etuukirika.
I am so glad that the East African countries come together under Umoja Bill, and they bidded for this, and they have succeeded. And indeed, Uganda is going to be the host. That is very, very important for us in terms of the economy. A lot of business is going to boost, beginning from the biggest businesses, even to the smallest one, because all the kind of people will be in this country. Depending on your pocket, when you are in this country, you must spend. And even those who are within here, they will spend. So for the business community, it's a very big opportunity. Two, in terms of health, sports. In sports, you do a lot, because sports is just not coming to sit and you listen. It is activities. So those who are going to involve themselves, the players and whoever will be active in this, it is physical. So in terms of health, it helps. It makes you very healthy. Then in terms of unity, patriotism, it is only sports that brings every Ugandan together. You know, when just see when people are playing football, whichever party you belong to, everybody speaks the same language. So sports and games bring the country together and unites the citizens of this country. So it is very important in terms of that patriotism, owning. You just look at the debate here. There was no one who was talking against. Everybody is talking about how successful this bid should be, how we must succeed in hosting it, and how successful it should be to the country. There was no contrary. There's nobody who is saying no. That's how it brings everybody together. So it has a lot of advantages for this country. I think it's important that we have succeeded, and I'm also happy that it now also begins to simplify or signify how the East African community is coming to reality. The President of Kenya, President of Tanzania, supporting the President of Uganda to see that this comes to East Africa is a way of personalizing the East Africa that we have been talking about. The theory is now becoming a reality. So it has symbolized so many things, just the bid that we have gone through. Yeah.
Honorable, for record purposes, the names.
Thank you. My name is Oleruhuda Abasan. the State Minister of Defense in charge of Veteran Affairs, a Member of Parliament representing the people of Oringa East from Yumbe District, West Nile. Thank you.